until you asked me, I've never told anyone any of that before. And that was where the Everyday Sexism Project was born. Women and girls needed to know that we weren't alone, that it wasn't just us, that we hadn't caused it somehow or been unlucky. Men and boys needed to know that this was happening, because when I started trying to talk about it, men said to me, sexism doesn't really exist anymore, women are equal now. And they didn't know. So I didn't think I could fix sexism overnight, but I thought, what if I could do just one thing? What if I could get people to see it? And I thought maybe if I start this tiny website with no funding and no advertising or way of promoting it, maybe 30 people will share their stories, and that will be something. Of course, what actually happened was that 250,000 people shared their stories, and the project suddenly took on a life of its own, and it was being talked about in the New York Times and the Times of India and Grazia South Africa and French Glamour, and women around the world started saying, we've heard about what you're doing, we need this here too. Police started using it to really understand some of the forms of abuse that they didn't know about because it wasn't reported, and changing the way that they police things like offences on the transport network. And governments and politicians started looking at the stories from young people and using them to think about changing the school curriculum on sexual consent. So it started to have an impact beyond the initial awareness raising.